Assalamu alaikum and welcome to grade 12 mixed class with me Mariam Shafa Ibrahim from CHSC. We'll be continuing with algebraic methods and today we are going to practice addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. Now before we go into problems with algebraic fractions, let's practice the procedure using these number fractions. Okay, here I have 1 over 3 plus 3 over 4. So the first step is to take the denominators and find the LCM. So 3 over 4 will have an LCM of 12. Now, if you have bigger, more complicated numbers, you can use the LCM procedure to find the LCM. But for simple numbers, you can see the LCM just by looking, right? So once you get the LCM, you can get the denominator same by multiplying with the missing factors. So to get 12 for the first fraction, we need to multiply the denominator with 4. So we are multiplying with 4 over 4. And for the second fraction, 3 over 3. Now the reason we are using 4 over 4 and 3 over 3 is if you are adding anything to an operation, it should get cancelled out. Okay, so you can't just multiply with the denominator only, you need to multiply with the numerator as well. So multiply that to get the denominator same and write it as a single fraction with the common denominator. Okay, don't write it as two separate fractions because then it gets complicated when you're trying to solve the numerator, especially when you're dealing with algebraic fractions, right? So write it as a single fraction with the LCM in the denominator. And then simplify the numerators to get your final answer. So in this case, 4 plus 9 is 13. So your final answer is 13 over 12. Okay. So we are going to apply this same procedure to algebraic fractions. Now we have here a very simple algebraic operation a over 2x plus b over 3x. First step, take the denominator and find the LCM. So the numbers you can do just as we did before, 2 and 3, the LCM would be 6, right? As for the latter part, we are applying the rule, taking all the terms with the highest power. So here we have x in both the denominators having power 1. So your LCM would be 6x. Once you get the LCM, we can make the denominator same by multiplying with the missing factor. So to get that 6 in the denominator, first one has to be multiplied with 3 over 3 and the second fraction by 2 over 2. And then write the denominator as a common denominator and write it as a single fraction. Multiply the numerators with the factors to get 3a plus 2b. Now once you have done multiplying, you need to check if you have any like terms in the numerator and simplify that, alright? But in this case, 3a plus 2b, there are no like terms, so that's your final answer. Now let's look at this example. 2 over x plus 3 minus 1 over x plus 1. So to find the LCM, we need to take both the denominators, x plus 3 and x plus 1, and we are applying the rules, taking all the terms with the highest power. So here we have two different terms, x plus 3, x plus 1 with the power 1. So that's your LCM. And then to get the denominator same, we need to multiply both fractions with the missing factor. So in the first fraction, we have x plus 3. So we need to multiply it with x plus 1 over x plus 1. And for the second fraction, we have x plus 1. So we need to multiply it with x plus 3 over x plus 3. And then write it with the common denominator. We have the LCM x plus 1, x plus 3 in the denominator and then multiplying the numerators with the factors gets you 2 into x plus 1 minus 1 into x plus 3. Now I recommend that you don't avoid this step, alright? Don't go to straight away multiplying and removing the brackets from there because then you make sign mistakes, especially when you are dealing with subtraction operations, alright? So write this step. That's an important step. Write that step and then go to removing the brackets. So we have 2 into x, 2x, 2 into 1, 2, minus 1 into x, minus x, and minus 1 into 3, minus 3. Alright. Many of you will get that middle sign correctly because it's the sign in the middle, right? But when you go to multiplying with the second number there, 1 into 3, sometimes you get a plus 3 there and then the whole thing goes right. So try not to avoid that step. That's an important step, right? Once you have removed the bracket, you can simplify the numerator. If there are any like terms, you don't need to simplify the denominator. You can just keep writing the LCM in the denominator, all right? But you don't need to simplify the numerator into the simplest form. So here we have 2x minus x, which gives you that x. and plus 2 minus 3 gives you that minus 1. So your simplest form is x minus 1 divided by x plus 1, x plus 3. Okay, so the new thing we are learning is how to find the LCM when you have terms like that in the denominator. Now let's look at this example. We have 3 over x plus 1 minus 4x over x squared minus 1. Now before we can go to finding the LCM of the denominators, you need to make sure that the denominators are completely factorized. Now here x plus 1, that's okay, right? But x squared minus 1 can be further factorized. So check the denominators, and if it can be factorized by simple factorization or grouping or as trinomials or by difference of two squares, make sure you factorize it completely first before finding the LCM. So here this difference of two squares, you can write the two factors x plus 1 and x minus 1, right? That's x squared minus 1 squared. Once you have factorized it, you can go to finding the LCM of the denominators. So we have two denominators here, x plus 1 and x plus 1, x minus 1. So using the rule, taking all the terms with the highest power gets you x plus 1, x minus 1 as the LCM. Once you get the LCM, multiply the fractions with the missing factor to make that denominator same, right? So for the first fraction, we have x plus 1, but we don't have x minus 1. So we need to multiply that with x minus 1 over x minus 1. But the second fraction has both the terms, right? X plus 1 and x minus 1. So you don't need to multiply that with anything. And then not ignoring this step, all right? Write with the brackets first and then go to removing the brackets. You don't need to do anything with the denominators. You can just keep writing the LCM, but the numerators has to be simplified. So you need to remove the bracket 3 into x 3x and 3 into minus 1 minus 3 and then that 4x, and then simplify the like terms. So 3x minus 4x gets you the minus x and the minus 3 is there. All right. Make sure the numerator is in the simplest form. I hope that's clear. So the new thing we are learning here is to check the denominators and make sure they are completely factorized before we go to finding the LCM. All right. Let's look at this example here. We have 2 over x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 3 over x squared plus 4x plus 3. So both fractions are having trinomials in the denominator. Now trinomials can be easily factorized using your calculators, right? You can use your calculator's equation mode to solve the quadratic equation and then use the solution to find the factors. So if you type in those two in your calculator, you would get the answer. Now for the first one, that would be x is equal to minus 3. And for the second quadratic equation, when you type that in, you would get x is equal to minus 1 and x is equal to minus 3. So once you get the solutions, you can write the factors. And remember, when you have solutions and you are converting it into factors, you need to make sure the signs are opposite, right? So if the solution in the calculator is x equal minus 1, your factor would be x plus 1. And the solution x equal minus 3, your factor would be x plus 3. Okay. Now look at the first one, the first fraction here. If you write the denominator, that trinomial in your calculator and solve, you would get only one solution, x is equal to minus 3. But it's a quadratic equation, right? That you're typing in your calculator. So you should have two solutions, which means the solution is repeating, which means the two factors here is x plus 3 and x plus 3. Same factor is repeated twice. All right. So when you're writing that in the denominator, instead of writing as two separate factors, we need to write it using index form. All right. So instead of writing x plus 3, we can write it as x plus 3 squared because we need that power when we are finding the LCM. All right. And then find the LCM of the denominators. We have x plus 3 squared and x plus 1, x plus 3. So taking all the terms, we have two different terms, x plus 1 and x plus 3. And the highest power, now x plus 1 has power 1, but x plus 3 has power 1 and power 2. So the highest power would be 2. So your LCM is x plus 1 and x plus 3 squared. Alright. So once you get that LCM, we can go to multiply with the missing factors to find the common denominator. And then write the denominator as a common denominator and multiply the numerators with the factors. Don't ignore that step again, especially when you're dealing with subtraction questions, alright, to avoid sign mistakes. And remove the brackets. You can leave the denominator as it is, but simplify the numerators to the simplest form. So we have 2x plus 2 and minus 3x, minus 3 into 3 minus 9. So that's where mistake comes in normally, alright, that 3 into 3, many students will write plus 9 there. So to avoid that, make sure you write with the bracket first. And then simplify in the like terms. So 2x minus 3x gives you that minus x, and plus 2 minus 9 gets you that minus 7. So that's your final answer. Okay. So the new thing we are learning in this example is, if you have a denominator that gives a single solution, make sure to write the square there. Alright, and write your answer in index form instead of writing two separate factors. Let's look at this example here. We have three fractions. Alright, 4 over 3x minus 2 over x minus 2 plus 1 over 2x plus 1. Now, even if you have two fractions, three fractions, or four fractions, you can do it at a stretch altogether. Alright, just take all the denominators and find the LCM, and then follow the same procedure. So if you take the denominators here, we have 3x, x minus 2 and 2x plus 1. So taking all the terms, we will get all the three denominators, right, in the LCM with the power 1 in all the terms, right? So your LCM is 3x, x minus 2 and 2x plus 1. Now we need to multiply with the missing terms to get the denominator same. So the first fraction has 3x, but it doesn't have the other two factors. So it has to be multiplied with minus x minus 2 and 2x plus 1. The second one has x minus 2, so it has to be multiplied with 3x and 2x plus 1. The third one has 2x plus 1, so we need to multiply with 3x and x minus 2. And then write the step with the brackets, okay? Once you get the denominator as the LCM, you don't have to do anything with the denominator. You can just keep writing it. But the numerator has to be simplified. Okay. Now, when you're simplifying the numerator, you can do it in two ways. Bring the constant in to the first bracket first and then go to removing the double bracket. Or you can remove the double bracket and then multiply with the number outside. Right? Both ways are correct and you will end up getting the same answer. Now, what I have done is I have removed the double bracket and then multiplied with the number. Okay. So removing the double bracket, if you want, you can do that working on the side or on a separate piece of paper. All right. So when you remove the double bracket, you have to multiply each term in the first bracket with the whole of the second bracket, right? So x into 2x plus 1 and minus 2 into 2x plus 1. And then that gets you 2x squared plus x minus 4x and minus 2. Now simplifying the like terms, your final answer is 2x squared minus 3x minus 2, which you can put back in the fraction. Alright, don't try to do this whole working inside the fraction, because then it looks very complicated and you start making sign mistakes and simplification mistakes. Do it on the side or do it in a separate piece of paper and then substitute your final product into the fraction. Alright. Same way here, there's just one term here, so you can multiply it with that bracket. So 3x into 2x gets you 6x squared and 3x into 1 gets you that 3x. And here 3x into x gets you 3x squared and 3x into minus 2 gets you minus 6x. Now once you have removed the double brackets, you can go to removing the rest of the bracket by multiplying with the number outside. Alright. So multiply that out and then look for the like terms and simplify the like terms. Alright, so we have 3 terms with x squared and 3 terms with x. So we can simplify that. So 8 minus 12 plus 3 gets you minus x squared, and minus 12 minus 6 gets you that minus 24x. And then minus 8, the constant, there's no other constant, so we can just write minus 8 there. Okay. So that's your final answer. I hope that's clear. So the new thing we are learning here is even if you have 2 or 3 or 4 fractions, you can find the LCM all together and do the solutions together. You don't have to split it up and do one part separately and then do the other part. Okay. Now let's apply what we have learned to this exam type question. Here it says the function gx is equal to x plus 6 over x plus 2 plus 36 over x squared minus 2x minus 8, and we need to show that it can be written in this form, single fraction, x cubed minus 2x squared minus 2x plus 12 over x plus 2x minus 4. So we need to simplify these three terms to get that single fraction, right? So first step, look at the denominators, make sure it's completely factorized. Now for the first term, x doesn't have a denominator, which means the denominator is 1, right? For the second fraction, 6 over x plus 2, that's already in the simplest form, right? We don't have to do anything with the denominator there. But for the third one, it's a trinomial, so you can factorize that using your calculators. Okay, equation mode. Solve the quadratic equation a equal 1, b equal minus 2, and c equal minus 8. It will give you the solution x is equal to minus 2 and x is equal to plus 4. Once you get the solutions, you can write the factors with the opposite sign. Alright, so x equal minus 2 will get you x plus 2 as the factor, and x equal 4 will get you x minus 4 as the factor. So once you're done factorizing, making sure that all the denominators are completely factorized, we can go to find the LCM. And we're finding the LCM of all the three denominators together. Alright, so we have 1, x plus 2, and x plus 2, x minus 4. So using the rule, all the term and highest power gives us the LCM, x plus 2 and x minus 4. That 1 will be there, but you don't need to write it, but you just need to know that it's there, okay? If there are other terms in the LCM, you don't have to write that 1. And then multiplying with the missing terms to get the common denominator. Since 1 is the denominator in the first fraction, you need to multiply with both the terms, x plus 2 and x minus 4. For the second fraction, x plus 2 is already there, so you need to multiply with x minus 4. And for the third fraction, it is all there, right? X plus 2 and x minus 4 both are there, so you don't have to multiply with anything. Then, not avoiding this step, write with the brackets and then go to removing the brackets, alright? Again, we have a double bracket, so you can either multiply that x into the first bracket and then go to remove the double bracket, or you can remove the double bracket and then multiply with the x, alright? So here I have removed the double bracket first. So x plus 2 into x minus 4 is x squared minus 2x minus 8. And then the second part, 6 into x minus 4 is 6x minus 24. And then the 36 is there, right? And then removing that bracket gets you x cubed minus 2x squared minus 8x plus 6x minus 24 plus 36. Now look for the like terms and simplify them. So that's your final answer, x cubed minus 2x squared minus 2x plus 12 divided by x plus 2 and x minus 4. So that's what we're trying to show there, right? So we have applied all the rules we learned in the previous example to show that. Now let's go to part B of this question. Using algebraic long division or otherwise, show that gx is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 6 divided by x minus 4. So we have already proved that gx can be written in this form, right, as a single fraction. Now we want to show that it can be simplified to x squared minus 4x plus 6 over x minus 4, right? Now they have even given us a hint here using long division, right? So what they have done is they have divided the numerator by that x plus 2 so that we can get rid of that x plus 2, the denominator. X minus 4 is still there, right? So we don't have to do anything with that x minus 4. So we are going to use long division to divide the numerator with x plus 2. Now you already know long division, right? We're just going to revise this. So the first thing is make sure that you have all the powers starting from the largest descending up to the constant. So all the powers should be there, right? So we have 3, we have 2, we have 1, and then finally the constant. If any powers are missing, make sure you include that with a coefficient of 0. Alright. But in this question, it's all there, so we don't have to worry about that. So to get that x cube, first we need to multiply x plus 2 with x squared. So x squared into x plus 2 gets you x cubed plus 2x squared. And then subtract it to get the remainder. Bring down the next term. And now we need a minus 4x squared. We have an x, so we need to multiply it with minus 4x, right? And that's going to get you minus 4x squared minus 8x. Subtract it to get the remainder and bring down the last term. Now to get that 6x, x plus 2 has to be multiplied with plus 6. And then we have the values 6x plus 12. Subtract it out to get the remainder. Now when you get the remainder 0, you know that x plus 2 is a factor of x cubed minus 2x squared minus 2x plus 12. Alright, and the quotient you get there, that's also a factor of x cubed minus 2x squared minus 2x plus 12. Right? So we can write this like that, right? X cubed minus 2x squared minus 2x plus 12 over x plus 2x minus 2 can be written as x plus 2 into x squared minus 4x plus 6 divided by x plus 2 x minus 4. And now using what we have learned in the previous lesson, if you have the same terms in the numerator and the denominator, you can cancel it out, which will give you the answer x squared minus 4x plus 6 divided by x minus 4, which is what we're trying to show there, right? So that's your final answer. So we are using the same things we learned previously to answer this question. I hope that's clear for all of you. Now, once you have learned this addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions, you can attempt the questions in exercise 1B of your P3 book. There are 7 questions. I'm sure your teachers will share them in your Google Classroom, and if you have the book, you can see it there as well. If you don't have the book, I have included the questions and the answers as well in this presentation, which will be available for you in the MOE website. So you can get the exercise from there as well and practice. And if you have any doubts, please contact your teachers and clarify your doubts. I hope you learned how to solve problems with algebraic fractions, addition and subtraction. Thank you very much for joining me in this class. Assalamu alaikum.